All right, so we are here. This is episode 100 of Shorty's Sneaker Conversations. Welcome. I'm your host, Shorty C94, and let's try to get our guests since we've only got an hour. Hello to everybody joining. This dude is not coming up in the search. What's up, everybody? We will get going here shortly. Appreciate that. Keandra. And this dude isn't even coming up for me to invite him. Oh, there he is. And Mr. Unloved Ones, if you could just, there we go. I'm going to try. This is embarrassing. I can't.
Hey,
What's up, sir?
what's up, man?
How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good.
Good, man. Good to have you. Good to have you here, man. Been a fan of your page for quite a bit.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
And a couple of years ago, I remember you. I wore my OG neutral grays, and you reposted me. You know what I'm saying? And I always appreciate it. So, before we get started, I do have to ask you. I ask all my guests, what's the most positive thing you've been able to take from the world since the pandemic started?
Whew. Cherish every breath, and cherish it with the ones you love.
For sure. For sure. Okay. I respect that. All right. So, how did this get started, man? How did you get started with the man?
I always blame my mother with her love of MJ. Take it back to the 90s. She was always watching Bulls games, so I'm naturally going to watch whatever she's watching. So there was that. And then you fast forward, being a teenager, being around my older cousins, they just love to get fresh. I wanted to be like them. One of my older cousins was a ball player. He'd been international, played overseas, and played with the and one team at that. So like I always wanted to follow them when whatever they was wearing. So I always just wanted to be like the older cats and just be fresh like them. They were getting the money, they were getting the girls, so that's what I wanted to follow. So that's pretty much how my love affair with sneakers started.
Okay. Okay. So, what was that first sneaker that just really piqued your interest?
Um, I want to say it was either Jordan 7s or Jordan 10s, but that was like as a young kid. Like older wise, like teenage wise, I'd go with like Flight Posits, Prestos at the time, Hyper Posits. Um, what else were we wearing then? I mean, of course, Air Force Ones. Everybody was wearing Air Force Ones. I was into dunks, just not SB dunks. I wasn't into like the skateboard dunks. I was into the regular basketball, thin leather dunks back then. Uh, and of course Jordans, but just I wasn't heavy on Jordans in my teenage years. It wasn't until I got older that I pushed forward to Jordans. Like I just wasn't heavy into them. I mean, because my favorite players, believe it or not, Penny, Tim Hardaway, Froby. Froby was the man. But so that I want to say that's when my love affair really started with sneakers. And then like of course when you fast forward to me now, it's all Jordan 1s.
Okay. Now, hopefully, I'm not being too personal asking you this, but how many
Dude.
ones?
The last I counted, it was in the 150s, 140s, somewhere around there.
Okay, that's a lot.
Probably more.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. I really feel like nowadays everybody, because there's so many Jordan ones between low, mid, high, OG high, that for most people it's because it's the Jordan I have the most of. I'm kind of somewhere between 60 and 70, but I have this thing. I don't know if I think it's mental, where when I see a lot of people wearing something, it'll make me not really want to wear it as much. Now, with you having the amount of ones and being known for ones, what do you have a favorite, or you're like a top five, or?
Yeah, my top five is easy. Even though like the number five always kind of similarly like alternates here and there. The top five would go Igloos, Seafoams, Lettermans, UNCs, and Chicago's. The number five always alternates because it could be Seafoams, it could be the Court Purples, it could be Soulflies, it could be any variation of that. It could be Shadows, like, but that number five slot always kind of depending on the end of the year, and if something came out that was worthy to hit that, like last year, the women's Seafoam cracked my top five. I think that's probably one of the most beautiful colorways that ever graced the Jordan 1 because it's so subtle, but it's so clean. It's like one of those, you just seen it. It gives off the exact inspiration that they put into it. Like it's inspired by Sage, and it gives off that to me. But anyway, yeah, my five is set. My number one is always going to be the Chicago's. Like I don't care what comes out, nothing is going to beat that fresh pair of Chicago's.
Nah, I get you. I get you. I do want to say I appreciate the fact that the David Lettermans are in the list, because
Oh yeah,
it was one that there was some hype around it, but not for real. And I know they went on sale a lot of places. I know I only paid about $80 for my pair. But
shout out to Buckeye City Soul, man. He was the one that that swayed me over because like I hated the shoe only because the metallic navy wasn't metallic black. That's literally the only reason I hated the shoe. Like, yo, that shoe would be perfect if that was black. But then, like, I wasn't paying attention to the actual story of the shoe. I wasn't paying attention to none of that. Then I was mad that they did, the metallic navies like right before that. So it was like you literally putting out the same shoe colored. So like that kind of irritated me. But shout out to my Nike Connect. I ended up getting both pairs for $150
nice, nice.
collectively. So like I was, talked my wife into it, but I was hyped to get that.
Yeah. Now, I do have a lot of one questions. Hopefully that's okay.
Sure.
What's the one that everybody loves that you don't really rock with?
Shattered backwards.
Interesting. Why so?
The perception that it's the best leather on the Jordan 1. And that's it. Just the echo chamber, the amount of prestige that was put on it. It's just the same way that some people look at Jordan 1's period and be like, man, I hate that shoe because everybody likes it. It's almost the exact same thing. But it was more of an annoyance for me because I archive stuff, right? And simple fact that I'm always going to, for lack of better words, review a shoe and talk about a shoe. When somebody uses a certain shoe as a benchmark, naturally you get like, okay, why are they using this shoe of all shoes? If you know something is better, I mean, even though that's all subjective, it's all subjective. None of it is fact. It's all subjective. It
Right.
becomes annoying over time. So you're looking at 2015, 2016, 2017, and then every pair after that from 2017 up is being compared to a pair that came out in 2015. To me, that had lackluster quality compared to pairs that came out in the same year, like the Lasers or the UNCs or even the Cyber Mondays. You're looking like, do y'all even like what is your criteria? How are y'all measuring this? What is the barometer? Or is it just because it's soft? And all of that just kind of put me to where, you know what? F that shoe. I hate that shoe because Like, nobody is going to have the same criteria across the board anyway, right? So, trying to come up with that criteria and like stick to it for me is the only reason why I've been able to smoothly not say all of this on a constant basis or explain it to people like, yo, I hate it because of you. No, I hate it because there's no barometer to measure everything, and y'all want to keep saying this, and it's going to be annoying to me. So yeah, that's that one shoe that does it.
Okay, I respect it. Now, since it's so similar, even though it's still very different, what are your feelings on the upcoming Taxi one?
I love them. I love them. Uh, I'm mad at the shoe at the same time because they had to change the hue on it. Like I wanted that yellow, I wanted that vibrant maize, but you know they changed it out for the Taxi 12 color, and it's cool. I'm not mad at it, but yeah, it's one of those shoes that everybody's been waiting on, man. We always, I don't want to say we've always wanted it, but it's one of those shoes that when we thought was coming, everybody just, oh, it's it. So let's go, because you gotta think when it was introduced. Prior to that, we had the blue chills, we had the court purples, pine greens, gold toes, gotta shine. So it was like everything's coming in succession that's in that color range. Let's go, and then it got vetoed, it got blocked, and we had to wait 3 years for the shoe to actually come to. I wasn't gonna say their name, but yeah, it got vetoed, and here we are, man. We're finally getting it, and I hope folks really enjoy this shoe. It's one of those. I told a story earlier this year about how Nike removed their embargo with certain colorways and certain themes for shoes, right? And what that means is nothing is off limits. And that was one of the shoes that full steam ahead they're going with. We're going to see some more next year too. There's some shoes that I never thought were going to release, and next year is going to be it.
Okay. So this is a generic question, and I wish I could ask it in a better way. But with you, feeling the way you feel about ones, and I mean we all love ones, but when you see them be as hyped as they've been to me since probably that Royal one in 2013, going forward, since you had been into them, like, did you feel the way or kind of look at people like
roller coaster?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's a roller coaster. For some, it's like, for some releases. Let me clarify that. For some releases, it's like y'all really don't like that damn shoe. Like y'all don't. Y'all like the hype around it or whatever. But that's just like my perception. I can't really tell somebody what they really like, right? But yeah, it's one of those things like collecting cards, collecting Beanie Babies, or whatever the hell you want to collect. That once it becomes mainstream, you're kind of looking at everybody who's jumping in a little sideways, regardless if it's genuine. I really like the shoe and I want to get into it and learn it or not. Because I got a partner right now, one of my co-hosts, who just got into sneakers within the past 3 years. Was not into sneakers prior to that. Our age, like, about 35, right? And you can't fault somebody for just now getting into a hobby and enjoying it, can you? Like, they genuinely want to learn. They genuinely want these shoes, and you can't be mad at them for doing that, right? You got to think, a lot of us have been doing that to kids now for the past 10 years who are just getting into it for whatever reason they're getting into it. And we faulted them for wanting to get into something that, is for everybody. Like, nah, you don't really like that. You trying to make money. Well, so let them. Like, without the new blood, without people getting into this, it kind of like dies off, and there's no demand or general need to keep creating something if we kill it. And I always thought about that, like just looking at people really like start to love ones is like, that's cool. I'm all for it, because the more people who keep this momentum going, the more they're going to make.
Fair enough. Now, I know you said in the history, the 7 and the 10 were shoes that you looked to when you were younger. Are you surprised that 7s don't really have the weight that they don't have the weight that they kind of used to have?
No, it's a Jordan Huarache. Huaraches don't carry the weight that they carry either, right? They're more like a watered down shoe where it's like if a OG colorway comes, they're gonna get it, but they're not like rushing to go get it. And sevens are the same way, man. Well, to me. Tens is a little bit different. Like if they really do something special with the tens, they'll hit. But if they don't, they're gonna fall by the wayside. And I think that's the same way with a lot of other models outside of 11s and threes. So
Fours too here lately. It seems like the four has kind of gained some steam too. So for some
if it
reason,
has a good colorway and a good story, it's gonna pop.
yeah, yeah. Now I know you gave me your top five as far as ones are concerned, but like, what do you have one for like like all sneakers, like a
Just all
top five?
Jordans, but not all sneakers. I haven't thought about outside sneakers like that in years. I was gonna do a list like that like during COVID, where I would just like pick all the shoes that I used to wear outside of Jordans and Nikes. But I've only done the list for Nike and Jordans. So like top five of all time Jordans, I got the maroon, sorry, burgundy fives, cement fours, altitude 13s, green bean fives, and then Chicago ones. Like I have that as my top five Jordan list. Then like as far as like Nikes, of course, Flight Posits, Vapor Max, stuff like that. Like it's usually in the basketball range, less of the lifestyle range when it comes to Nike.
Okay. I appreciate that Chicago one, being a part of it. It's special to me because my Chicago ones are the shoes I've had the longest in my collection. My pair's from 8th grade, and I can still wear and fit them. It's a pair from. I can't wait for the new release. And I know you've had them on your page and whatever. What are your feelings on them and them compared to the 2015?
So I hated the trend of pre-aging sneakers. It's just one of those things where I never understood it, but it's not my place to really, understand others' motives for why they want what they want. But it's a Chicago. There hasn't been a Chicago that they made that I was like, nah. Like, these, because they're coming free age, I can beat them to the ground with no caution. That's the way I look at certain shoes. Like I'm looking at shoes, if I can't think of a character or think of something to wear, I'm thinking of how I'm wearing it and where I'm wearing it. That Chicago Lost and Found from the Reimagined series is one of those shoes where I can just wear it wherever the hell I'm going, in the rain, I'm traveling, doing whatever, and not have a care in the world because of how it looks. It's supposed to be that beat. Currently, I'm doing the exact same thing, the three pairs, the Visionaires that came out earlier this year, the A-Mods that came out last year, and the Stage Haze Highs, the Coral Highs. I'm doing those three dirty right now. As far as just like wearing them, I wear them to work, I wear them out in the rain, take my kids, wherever I'm going, those my co-host is in the comments. I'm doing them like that because one, the materials, how they're doing the cracked leather. Because of that cracked leather, it's going to deteriorate at a faster rate than a normal sneaker would. So I'm not going to sit here and try to hold super prestige to a shoe that is going to, for lack of better words, flake off and crumble. So I'm going to wear them with reckless abandon and go all out. So that's the way I'm looking at that shoe. I mean, again, it is a Chicago, so like you're not gonna not put any type of respect on it because it's a Chicago, because it is what it is. Now, there's a side of social media that truly hates the pre-age to the point where it's like they're not even gonna buy it, regardless if it's a Chicago. And I understand. Stay away from them cement threes too.
Yeah, saying the other day, crazy that they're gonna bring out the Chicago one, the white, black, and red two, and the cement three in like a 4-month span. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that they're gonna do that. And the three, I like how it looks a little aged too. I remember being.
I'm gonna say one more thing with about the Reimagined series. They're continuing that, right, for the next 2-3 more years. where they're reimagining your favorites, mostly OG colorways in a remixed light, whether it be patent leather, whether it be suede, whether it be cracked leather, um, and some other iterations that they have coming up. It's just one of those things now where I'm looking at it where it's like you hear reimagine and you thought patent leather automatically. You didn't think remix, and I'm trying to put that out there. Like when you hear reimagine, think remix, because that's pretty much what's happening. The threes and next year's Jordan ones are not the only ones they're going to do reimagine come next year. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, I know you've got some privileged information. I won't try to pander too much or ask you too many questions. I know some of that stuff's got to be under wraps. Um, okay. I like what you said about the Visionaire because it's, when I reviewed them, because my wife got a pair from, I think, from Hibbett. I liked how they had the crackled leather on there as well for it to be such a loud shoe. I thought that was neat how they kind of brought worlds together with that. Now, with you being, kind of like probably the most famous one collector there is, what would you like to see them do with the one next that you already don't know?
More inverse colorways. I like reverse colorways, but inverse, where they just flip the panels with some of the classics are great. Case in point, Carmine Jordan 1s back in 2014 is an inverse colorway of the Chicago's. A reverse colorway of the Chicago's are the Gym Reds that came out in 2019 that are all black with the red swoosh. But I liked inverse colorways, just like what they're doing this year. They did 2 inverse colorways this year, and I'm happy as fuck. They did the Heritage and, excuse me for cursing, they did the Heritage and they did the Stealths. I was happy about that because it was like, y'all can do it, y'all will do it. Let's not stop. Let's keep this going. They didn't hit like I thought they would, but it is what it is. I just know when they start doing the inverse colorways of pairs like the Shattered Backboards, people are going to go crazy.
Do you feel like the Dark Marina is like that too?
No, only because it's not a direct hit. Like it would have been an inverse of like the Storm Blues had they used that storm color, but they purposely made that shade the way they made it, and they kind of just threw it off of me. But it is close. It is close. That's one of them. I need them to do that with damn. I need them. I would have said Royals, but we're not going to get that. Only because of Travis already. We're not getting that. But start doing inverse of colors like that. The UNCs. Hell, give us an all gray joint. The natural grays. Let's get an all gray one with a white swoosh or a black swoosh or something like that. Like, let's go out. Or let me get a full metallic like you did the Lettermans. Like, let's have some fun. Let's play with these. I already see we got 10 of the next new line of Jordan 1s already, right? We've seen those, and although those are nice and fun, it's lackluster to say the least, because I know a lot of folks are wanting what I just said. They want something that's fun, something that's new. They don't want just a simple flip. Simple flips are cool, but yeah.
Okay. Now, with ones, we got to talk about mids. I love mids.
The mid agenda.
I have to talk about it. I've seen you post some mids where I'm like, just having ran a lot of shoe stores, I'm like, I remember those, like all blue with the black swoosh from 2014 or something. But like, where do mids rank for you? I mean, I know everybody loves the highs, but
I have 3 mids in my top 20 Jordan 1s of all time.
Ooh, okay.
I have 3 pairs that are in my top, so they rank high. Currently, if anybody's following me on my page, I'm archiving the mids as we speak, right? And I started where the mids start in 2001, and currently I am in 2013, and I'm mad at myself because I thought I was done over the weekend, and then like I clicked the folder and I found like 20 more that I have to cover, and I'm like, but it's fun because this is what I do. I enjoy doing it. I'm not upset per se. I'm more so upset that I missed a whole folder worth of pairs. But mids, man, mids gave them the leeway to have some fun, like the fun that they can't do with OG highs and other things. They do with the mids and the lows. Like they're able to do a bit more, and even more when it comes to a kid model or GS. They're able to have just a tad bit more freedom. Sit down, baby. They have a tad bit more freedom with lows and kid sizes, and they get to tell a bit more of a story across multiple shoes. So like today I posted, it's not really a pack, but the inspiration for the 3 pairs that I posted today were like the Lakers, the Pistons, and the Hornets. Literally could not do that with a larger campaign. Like they're not letting that happen. Mind you, in the same year they did a Formidable Foes pack with like 6 different shoes. You had the highlight reels, you have the Celtics pair. Then if you take a step down in the mid category, you had the Celtics pair, and you had the Suns pair. Then you take it to the pack that they released with the AJKOs. You had the UNCs in Georgetown. So they got to tell several different stories across multiple different pairs. Baby, sit down. You cannot come on camera. No, you do not need that. And it's bedtime. You should be in bed, maybe. Go lay down. Thank you. I'll take that. Go lay down, okay? I love you, daughter. Yeah, they were able to tell a story across several different models in a shorter time span, and they wouldn't been able to do that with just highs. Like they weren't going to let that. The last time they did something like that, we got what, City Pack, and that was what, 2015, 2016 with the 10s. Like we don't get that type of storytelling anymore across multiple pairs. So it is what it is. Mids hold that weight for doing it.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that pack. And I like how they did it with both mids and highs. You know, but I remember the Lakers and the Pistons mids. The Lakers. I want to say it had Showtime or some sort of LA graphic on it. I think.
I'm not sure. I have to look back at them. I didn't look at all the pics. I just kind of put the story together.
Gotcha. Yeah, storytelling is something that I appreciate, and I feel like it's something that Nike does okay, but I feel like they've done better in the past, and I feel like they do it when they want to. You know, certain pairs are, I guess, more important to them than others. So, okay. With the mids, that kind of segues into, you know, you spoke on the KOs. I've heard people say they don't consider KOs to be actual ones. I think that's crazy. But what are your thoughts on the KOs?
I love KOs. KOs are probably like one of my favorite. Just I could throw those on and do whatever in pairs, right? But I get it. They're knockoffs. Like they're literally knockoffs. It was Nike's way of knocking off their own product because so many people were knocking them off at the time. That, and of course, you know, most basketball shoes in the '80s were canvas in favor of all leather. So that transition was already there. They took a step back, making a canvas version of a Jordan, but that was their leeway and their excuse for being able to go back and make a canvas pair. Let's just knock this shoe off. There's so many knockoffs out there. Let's do that. That's because originally they were the Air Jordan canvas. They weren't an Air Jordan 1 or anything like that. They were just the Air Jordan canvas.
Yeah. And I love
where the knockoff name came from afterwards, but I kind of figured it out later. Shout out to Nike Talk, Nike Stories, and that's like too many pages to shout out because they cracked that story down well into newspaper clippings, emails, stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do.
Yeah, not KOs. You know, again, the Chicago is just going to always be my favorite Jordan 1. So I do have the 14 and the pair from last year. I wasn't able to get the pair from Tim with the regular Jordan 1 bottom. But I guess what I like about the KO2 is since it's from the same era as the Vandal, it's different from the Vandal where the Vandal is over here.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan 1 is over here. So, but that also leads me to, I really wish they would have did more with the Air Jordan 1 deconstructed.
Say that one more time.
I wish they would have done more with the Air Jordan 1 deconstructed.
Oh, the deconstructs. I finally got one of those last year. I think it was last year. Funny thing, I was able to talk to the designer behind those, and he made the samples out of old duffel bags from MJ's brother. They wanted a takedown version of the Jordan to where they can sell it at under $100, possibly like $90 to $110, whatnot. That was the initial plan, but things kind of like faltered and like they halted the project for however many years, and then they finally picked it back up and we got the 4 colors that we did get. But the initial colors that they wanted to do were like completely different. They wanted to do the olive and military versions of them. Then they wanted to do other colorways like a deep red, maroon, stuff like that. Just they wanted to do a lot more than what they did. So the idea was there. But once they were able to execute how they executed, they got greenlit for other takedown models. So they did the Decon 2s. There is a deconstructed 3 out there. They did the Decon 3. So yeah, so they kind of they were going to go for the gusto the same way they did with the fly knits. We got fly knit 1s, fly knit 4s, fly knit 17s if I'm not mistaken. The mellow joints. There was 2 pair of mellows that were done.
Go
ahead.
I think they did a 3 too. I think it was all black, I think.
Yeah. Anna Winters, if I'm not mistaken. The collabs with Vogue. Yeah. I probably had to look back into that. But yeah, no, they whenever they get like new iterations of things, I'll say Nike because it's not even Jordan brand, but whenever Nike does something new, that tech gets tested out on a Jordan 1. When they did foam posits for the first time, they were in the process of doing foam posit Jordan 1s. They did them, the anodized version. They did 7 colors. Same thing when they do fly knit, like when the original fly knit came out for Nike Fly Weave and fly knit technology, fly weave came first. They did 1 fly weave Jordan 1. I got it too. It came in a pack with the 18s. And then they did the fly knit Air Force 1s after that, because fly weave was like strictly done on basketball shoes like Kobe's and Hyper Dunks and stuff like that. So like the tech world, whenever they start to roll out new technical advances, they'll hit Jordan brand off every single time.
That's good. That's good. Okay. So another thing I feel like in the Jordan 1 community that's kind of scrutinized or not is beyond the mids is collabs. What are your feelings on the collaborations?
I'm happy they're weaning off of collabs with Jordan 1s because there's probably some of the hardest shoes to come across. A collab is hard to come across, period, but a Jordan 1 collab is even harder to come across. Even in my position of being able to have some type of lifeline of, hey, can you help with this? It's still hard to get, a hold of any type of collab. Add to the fact that, they don't make more than like 150, 160,000 Jordan 1s when they make Jordan 1s. I don't care what color it is. They're not going above that number. That's it. That's their GR level, right? Then you minus like 50, 60K off of that for a collab, and it's like whole world wants this shoe. There's really no chance at grabbing them. And I don't think a lot of people look outside of their own scope of their front porch when it comes to a lot of these sneakers. Like, it ain't just America. It ain't just your city. Dude, you got Europe, you got Asia, you got South America, you have, all over the world, people really wanting these shoes. And like, I can open my DMs and just show the, United Nations of folks that are in my DMs asking, yo, can I get help with this? I'm over here in Kuwait, or yo, can I get help with this? I'm in Peru. Yo, can I get help with this? I'm in Russia. Like literally, so many different people across the world want these shoes with that limited amount of number, and then you throw collab on it. Yeah, I'm happy next year we're not going to get a lot of Jordan 1 collabs, like if any. If any. Like this year we're getting one.
Okay.
Just one.
I have to ask, what is your favorite collab, and what collab was the hardest for you to get, even being who you are?
That's tough. Because I don't know who's gonna see this.
Uh,
No, I'll say my favorite collab is the Soulflies.
okay.
Outside of that, it would go to the Off-Whites. And then like if I go a step further, any Jordan 1 Spike Lee, because they're not technically collabs, they're just his shoes. But like I love all the Spike shoes, which are the Do the Right Things, the Hyper Royal He Got Games, the Gym Reds from 2014. No, those would be the ones. What was I going to say? Give me 1 second.
What's up to everybody joining? Welcome, welcome.
Daddy duty. But yeah, no, as far as like collabs, the hardest one that I was able to get, I would say would be like the Off-Whites. I'm not gonna like count anything that was, tainted because there is a few releases out there that, shall remain nameless that
Oh yeah.
were super hard. But yeah, no, the Off-Whites, I got lucky. I just got a box in the mail. My kids got everything and whatnot. My wife was like, "Yeah, no, there's one in there with a note on it." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I get home and I'm like, she's like, "Yeah, the box is cut," and I was like, "Box is cut." I didn't think about it until like I got home off of work. I was like, "Oh, they sent me, they sent me the USC Off-Whites," and I was like, "Yes, thank God." They shock dropped. I remember they shock dropped, and a lot of people were able to hit. Like it wasn't like it was an instant thing. A lot of people were able to hit. I wasn't, so I was like, damn. Like I kind of just like, all right, it is what it is. That's the last one. It is what it is. I'm done. All right, cool. Let's on to the next. So it was probably like a week or two later that that brand Jordan box showed up, and they were there. That's why it was a toss up between those and the Soulflies, because like I love the Soulfly ones, and that was another gift from Jordan Brand that was like I wasn't expecting it, because that I got that 2 months after they came out. So it was like that was another one of those like, damn, y'all sent, thank you. I wasn't gonna make it to Florida to get that pair. It's the same thing as the Art Basels the year before. I'm not taking that trip. But yeah, no, you know what? There is a Spike Lee collab or a Spike Lee release that I really really liked. They released a shoe this year that was based off of that collab. As a matter of fact, that released in Brooklyn only. Well, I don't want to say Brooklyn, but Fort Greene only in his store, specialty store. He had a lot of merch to go along with it. It was a high. It's a black and navy blue shoe. It's like a royal, but it's navy blue instead. And has all his logos and insignia on it. He gave you T-shirts and pins, a couple of hats, some movie posters and stuff like that. I guess they're called the Mars Black Moons, but I call them Fort Greens. But that was a hard pair. They were $300 a pop retail, and you can only get them in his store. And of course, like I heard about it the day before, ain't no getting up to New York, getting in line, and that you already lost out for that. So that would be that one.
Okay. Now, the Holy Grail term gets thrown around the sneaker community, but I do have to ask you, do you have a Holy Grail, whether it's a Jordan 1 or not, a sneaker that you just want that you just haven't been able to put your hands on yet?
I say this a lot. There is one shoe that I'll never be able to get unless they remake it and release it. Um, in 2013, they did a contest for the night vision set, aka the history of flight Jordan 1s, right? And they're all black with green accents. Um, they did one through, I want to say 23 or whatnot, and a lot of winners. One of the winners ended up getting like a lot of their pairs, and then like that the Jordan 1s from that set were like bum fumbling around from hand to hand, and then like I lost track of them like 4 or 5 years ago. But that shoe I know I will never be able to touch because at the time the person who had them was asking for 17K just for that pair alone. And mind you, other pairs in that set were going for like 4K, 5K, 7 or 8 or whatever. But like they wanted astronomical for that. I'm like, yo, dude, who had what? Not for a pair. No, no, no. But that is forever. Like I post that shoe periodically just to just to show folks like, yo, no, there are grails out there that you'll never be able to obtain. Like, I get that folks toss that word around. I get it. Like maybe it really means that much to them that, they don't think they'll be able to obtain it, even if they, do get the money to grab it. They're looking at it like it's that far away. And I think that's how a lot of people look at that word grail. That shoe to me is so unobtainable unless, one of the designers hears this and is like, you know what, man, we'll end up doing it. But they haven't touched on something. The last time they touched on any of the display case packs was the Pantones.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're revisiting none of that because that didn't do well. The history of is it the history of flights? I think I'm getting the pack name mixed up. I gotta look back at it. It's the history of flights. There's 28 days of flight. That's what it is. I'm sorry, I had the name completely wrong. 28 days of flight. That was it because they were released in February, and that was to coincide with the release of the
28.
28s for MJ, and he was super excited about that particular pair because the whole zip ups are down and the reveal. So I remember that because that was the same year that they did the night vision pack with the Joker 3s, Joker 1s, which are like that's one of the ones that's in my top 20 as far as mids.
Mm.
So yeah, no, I remember now. How did I get that name wrong? That's my grill, and I still got the name wrong.
Hey,
And
the
it's
color
the Jordan.
with the black.
Yeah.
So
Come with the crate case. Like they went all out for those pairs, man.
if I had a Grail Jordan 1 myself, and they go, but they don't go like 17K. I always would have liked to have had that MTM Jordan 1.
Yeah. Oh, that's the flyweed pair I was talking about that I recently got this year, or it's either this year or last year. I just came across that pair, man. That's one of my favorite pairs that I try not to wear it too much because my soul is starting to separate. That's how much I've worn them. But it's different, man. It really is different. I put that pair next to my shadows because it's like what the amount of times that I wear both of those pairs is neck and neck because I can just throw them on and just go. They go with everything.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask you, what's a Jordan 1 that you thought you would, because I have a couple, a Jordan 1 that I was excited to get, and I thought I was going to wear it, and I just didn't really wear it as much as I thought it would. For me, it's the top 3. I thought, I was like, man, this is going to be my Jordan, like my go-to Jordan. But I don't know. Between that and the black toe, I'm like, I really need to wear these more,
I have a couple. Silver toes. It's hard. It's just it's what I lace swapped them to make them a little bit more palatable to rock with more stuff. But that sheen is something different. I mean, it's a woman's shoe at that, so that sheen is supposed to be the way it is. So I can't really be mad at it, but I'm mad at it. I got it. The women's court purples also, because that shade of purple is just irritating to me because it's not metallic. Like it's one of those things that just irks me. Um, mochas, mochas. I was highly upset with that damn shoe. Like, like that shoe irritated me. Just as she swayed, kind of just does that thing, and that's probably why I initially skipped out on the best hand in the game pack. I still beat myself up because I could have had the pack, but I skipped out for that simple fact that I knew I would have been irritated getting those and seeing them fade colors like night and day. But yeah, those three pairs. Every time I get ready to throw them on, I'm like, do I really? Oh, and was it the hyper crimson or the crimson tint?
Ah,
The peach.
yeah.
And it's such a hard color to if you don't have any of like Nike's early 2000s or mid 2000s peach jam LeBron like shirts, shorts, basketball shorts, any of that stuff, EBC classic peach, like if you don't have any of that stuff, you're not really going to find something to rock with that unless you like beach bum and you wearing that type of clothing. It's just not going to happen. So those four automatically are like, but I can't get rid of them.
Nah, that Crimson Tint, like I forgot all about that. I got lucky and I found Old Navy had their version of Tech Fleece a little bit after that came out, and they had that same color. But I ended up getting the jacket that they made with it, so I just wear that Jordan jacket with it. But they are, a little bit. I have to say the Turbo Green too. Like I was really excited for that one, and I love it. But like you said, can't get rid of it. But
That's a Charlotte Hornets All-Star colorway. You throw them purple laces in, you got Charlotte all day. That was partially the inspiration for that shoe. So
I know it was
I
all.
passed on it. And I'm still mad about that. Also, I was I had this fake preconceived notion about materials that I didn't like. Patent leather and suede were the two that they touching the Jordan 1. I don't want it. So like up until was it I want to say 20 what's that 2019 I finally broke out of that. It was like if it's a dope colorway, it's a dope colorway, let me get them. And because of that, I missed out on all the pairs that I've already said. Like another one of the pairs that I missed out on that I could have had that I'm still mad at to this day is the blue chills, the patent leather blue chills. Like that's another one of those pairs where it's like, damn, I it's a dope pair, and I missed out on it because it's patent leather. Like, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, for whatever reason, Instagram will only let me go live for an hour. So I know we've only left. So I do want to ask you, um, you know, are your kids into the shoe game as well?
My daughter is pretty much like my spirit animal when it comes to sneakers. Like she loves them. My boys, they like them, but I don't think they're super into sneakers. But yeah, my daughter, she's 4, but daddy, that the animal print, that one right there with the I have to have that, daddy, I have to. So it's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. She seen a pair recently, and she's like, uh, "Daddy, can I have those?" I'm like, "I want those too." But yeah, no, because she does like stuff. I try to make sure that if it's something that's coming, and I know it's coming out soon, I'll reach out to see if I can have that, like, just to make sure that she's set with that. My boys is a little bit different. they're almost to my shoe size now, which kind of scary. But as soon as they hit my shoe size, they're gonna have free range to one side of the closet, just one.
Hmm.
Anything that's on this side, go ahead, have fun. Just don't mess them up too bad. So,
Yeah.
but
I,
they growing like weeds, and they got their own sense of style. I didn't really want to force anything on them. Just kind of want to let them, find their sense of this is what I like, and this is what I'm going to. Like I can see my oldest gravitating towards, just more funky, eclectic stuff, and still trying to find where my middle child is at with everything. But sneakerheads, I wouldn't classify them as sneakerheads. I'm happy for it, but if they ever go that way, hey, more power to it. Put all that energy into them doing that. But I want it to be their choice. I don't want to force nothing on my kids.
I'm the same way. Like my son is 14 and he's already at about my shoe size. He's like 11 and a half. If he gets LeBron's, it's 12, just like I would. So it is crazy. Like I just remember you being, you know what I mean, little. So it's crazy. I think that kids grow faster than they used to. But he, my son isn't a sneakerhead either. He kind of has gravitated to Jordan 1s and Air Force 1s where, that, is what he likes. His Chicago mids with the black toe and his black and red mids are probably his favorite shoes. And I appreciate that. But it's the same thing where I'm not going to force him just because me and his mother are really into it. So,
Yeah.
you know, now you're married.
Hmm.
Is your wife, you know,
She
into the,
likes shoes. She likes shoes, but she's not a sneakerhead. So like, if it's something that catches her eye and she wants to, so say something, but she's not gonna go out looking for shoes or anything like that. She's more of a comfort lady. Let me go out and grab what I'm comfortable in and keep it going. But she does love blazers. She loves Vandals. She likes lows more than she likes, highs or anything like that. But if it's a good colorway and something, she's grabbing it. So that's her lane.
all right, now this may be a tough question, but I'm sure, I mean, you know enough about sneakers where I think you'll be okay with this. If you couldn't wear ones anymore, what would you wear?
If it's still in Jordans, I'm wearing any other Jordan. I probably would jump straight to Jordan 12s and then, go from there.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me?
What made you start the show?
I'm new to North Carolina. We've only lived here for about 2 years, and I just felt disconnected from home because I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. But I really wanted to find a way to connect with other people in this, what I call a life we chose. And I'm really interested in hearing everybody's, story about why they're doing this, what they like, what they're into. Um, you know, um, I guess I just love sneakers that much where I love talking to people about it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Would you be down to join our show? Our show is on, and when I say our, it's me and two other gentlemen. We talk sneakers, movies, comics, and sports. Monday nights at 9 o'clock. Would you be down to join our show one night?
Absolutely.
All right, all right. We'll set that up. We will set that up. One more question. One more question. What got you into sneakers?
Whew. Um, I was fortunate to have a dad that really was into sports and into sneakers as a kid. So I'd say it's really him. I mean, we have a picture where we're wearing original Jordan 1 wing shirts, from the 80s. So I've always been around sneakers because I've always been around basketball, and he played intramurally. He would buy basketball sneakers to actually play in instead of just wearing them. But it's because of him. And the Jordan 6, when it came out when I was in fourth grade, 91, he came home with the whole kit. It was the first Jordan I ever wanted, and it kind of changed me to where I started asking for sneakers all the time. When I started working when I was a kid, it was just to get sneakers.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. That's the love affair that we all have, man. I wish nothing but success and more blessings to come your way, man. Happy 100th episode, and thank you for having me on, man. It's an honor.
Nah, man, it's an honor for me to have you on here. You know, I've been following your page for some years now, and you know, just to see somebody else with that love, it's really really refreshing. So, you know, hopefully, you know, we could do this again. You know, I could be on, you know, you guys' show. I'd love to do that, you know, as well. So, thank you again. Thanks to everybody watching. Can't believe I've done 100 of these, but you know, again, thank you so much.
Dedication, man, for real, man. Salute, salute, salute. Thank you for having me on, man.
No problem, man. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, but I will be in touch. And everybody, comments, be blessed.
Deuces.
Peace, man.